chose this lifestyle to find hope and a community of good people so we can stay grounded in what really matters.
We wanted to truly experience the world instead of just reading about it and show our daughter how to live, not just survive.
We are sailing Wingapo. In this episode, we're going to talk about our first offshore sailing trip from Astoria, Oregon to Ketchikan, Alaska.
Goodbye, land.
Wow, look at that sunrise.
The weather was so perfect when we crossed the Columbia Bar that Scarlett took a nap and I missed recording it, but it was beautiful. There was no seasickness until we got out of the Columbia mouth into the ocean.
We left Astoria this morning, and we're out just going in the ocean on our way up to Alaska. It'll be our first night on the boat out in the water, and hopefully everything goes well. We're going to sleep outside and take turns taking a watch, getting up, checking on things. Here they all cuddled down. Good luck.
It's our second day out on the ocean. I have come down with crazy seasickness. So last night we slept half out here in the cockpit and then half down below in the aft quarter berth with just Scarlett and I, and Corey stayed out here all night. He put a hand line out yesterday, so we caught a fish, and he's going to rig up a table back there on the solar panel rack so we can cut it up out there and keep all of that stuff out in the ocean instead of in our boat. And inside's a mess. The waves are a little bit bigger than at least I expected, and because we're so heavy in the water line is higher up on our boat, which means our sinks are full of water. So there's that. And the toilet is also not flushing all the way, which is hard for me because of the smell. So we need to rig up a toilet seat out here so I can go to the bathroom when it's rough and I'm sick out here. And Scarlett's doing well. She's not seasick or anything. So yeah, it's our second day out in the ocean, first night. So pretty.
Look, our first fish.
Our first fish!
And look who's caught it.
So it turns out that the fish we caught was a mackerel, a Pacific mackerel, which is in the same family as the tuna fish. So it's more of a bait fish. We didn't really enjoy it after we cooked it.
Day 3, night 2, a little bit late. It's almost night 3 now. I've been super nauseous the whole time. And we spent a lot of time outside today. I think we're all getting a little sunburnt, so you have to be more careful about that. And new development, the water maker is having problems. It's not working. So we should have at the worst 50 gallons of water to make it to Alaska, but that should be okay. You want up? Day 4, night 3. Today was hard. I was sick for most of it, again, and not in a great mood. So Corey wasn't in a great mood. Scar's been all over the place. But Corey cleaned up the boat so it's easier to walk. And we made some yummy fettuccine alfredo, and we got bread with butter on the grill, and he made muffins, but basically brownies, in the solar oven, which is right there. And we also have this huge ship that's gonna pass in front of us. It's the closest boat I've seen. And this is the best part of the day. Yay!
Although I would say Scarlett was pretty easy as far as toddlers go in a small boat in the middle of the ocean, It was hard sometimes to pass the time with her wanting to be active, so Corey took some of that responsibility away from me while I was seasick and played ball with her and just let her run around as much as we could while we were underway. After 2 days of sailing out into the ocean and 75 miles off the coast, we had enough consistent wind that we only tacked twice in the 9 days that we had from Astoria to the Dixon entrance just under Alaska. It took 2 additional days after that to get into Ketchikan, but the wind was spectacular. Not so much for me as far as seasickness goes, but for the boat and for making time. I was just trying to show you what everything looked like while we were out there in this short little clip.
Right now it's a little rough. It's mostly from the wind, and we're cruising around at 6 knots, give or take, 5.5, 6, and here's what it looks like.
We would go about 50 to 75 nautical miles daily. There is a difference between regular miles and nautical miles. Nautical miles are a bit longer. It's not that far when you think about driving, but on a boat that's as old as ours going upwind, that's pretty decent time.
It's about 15, 14 knots of wind.
I really don't know why I was so nauseous with the movement of the ocean. I know that they're rollers and I know it's common, but it didn't seem that big to me out there the whole time. This was a little bit bigger than what it had been, but we were about to see a little bit of a squall. But the seasick patches that we have now from Alaska are working, and so on the way back it should be a lot better than on the way here.
Don't record this.
I'll spare you all from seeing Corey relieve his bladder here.
You're gonna record this. Well, this is day 6 and night 5. We're just cruising along. Had a squall come through today and blew some nice wind and rained on us. And just making our way up. A little slower than we expected, but it's the way it goes.
Unsurprisingly, I've been nauseous all day today. I think it's just going to be how it is for me when it's not perfect sailing weather. And Corey's been having problems with the self-steering device, the wind vane. The bolts are coming loose, and there's a couple of other problems with it that are quality control issues that he's going to have to contact the company about. And water maker is still not producing what it should be, but at least it's producing. And at least we have enough power to watch TV. And it's a mess because the waves are like huge. They're like probably 10, 12 foot waves, and they're rolling the boat, so everything is just everywhere. But I did pee off the back of the boat, so improvement for going to the bathroom while you're seasick.
We've had some problems on this trip, although every trip has problems, but ones we didn't really expect to have with new parts. So we've had problems with the water maker, but I think I've got that going, although it's not producing the water it should be. I'd probably be lucky to get a quarter a gallon an hour, and it's supposed to be 1.5 gallons an hour. Some of the valves in it are causing issues. So far the sails have been great. The rigging's all new, so it's all great. We've had some issues with our wind vane back there. It broke a rudder today, or the servo pendulum blade on it broke. Sucks. I had to put the spare one on, but luckily I had a spare. And it's been rubbing, so it's got some funny wear on it in places. But I don't know, we'll get it all sorted out. It's been working okay in the higher winds, but when it gets down below like 6 knots, it doesn't work very well. So it's fun. At least we're not hand steering.
Yeah, you see all those colors? Look at all those colors. Day 7, night 6. This is what I imagined when I thought of coming out into the middle of the ocean. Super calm today. No current, no wind. We motored for a little bit. Scarlett wants attention. We're still like 3 days or so away from anchoring out in Alaska. But today is a good day.
That's it? Ready? You look at the string.
Here's another way that we entertained our little toddlers, tying a little piece of string to her duck. And at first she was terrified that she would never see her ducky again, but she soon figured out that she could reel it back in. And we gave her a fishing pole shortly after, well, I guess almost back to Washington, but we gave her a fishing pole while we were in Alaska, and she loves it.
She's emotionally attached, isn't she?
Hey Scarlett, what are you doing? Are you fishing with your ducky?
This is what it sounded like in the V-berth when we were underway and trying to sleep. It was the most rocky place, but also the most comfortable, and as you can see, Scarlett really enjoyed her sleep. She did fidget some when we would move a bit more, but she slept really soundly for the majority of the trip.
So here's our view of our sunset. Full sails out. No land in sight, although somewhere over there, probably about 50 miles away, is Canada. That's the other side. Let's see what we're doing for speeds. Doing 5.4 knots. Here we are for day 8. Alright, day 8, night 7, I guess. Beautiful sunset, but we got some chop out here. We got our sails reefed down on my second reef on the main and about 100% on the jib. I can pull in some more, but it's not too bad right now, I don't think. see what happens. But look at this view. Of course, this Dodger's coming in really handy. Except for where I don't have the windows in it yet. That kind of sucks, but. Look at those waves.
You can tell how well I was feeling based off of how Scarlett's hair looks. When I was feeling well, I did it. And when I wasn't, I did the best I could.
What are you doing? Are you recording her?
What do you have, Mommy's earplugs?
This is day 9. It's kind of stormy still. Last night our mainsail blew out, ripped right above the second reef. Now we've only got our jib going. Not a bad day.
Welcome to Wingapo's hair salon. I already did Scarlett's hair. We used this Care Between Washes dry shampoo and this waterless conditioning. And it works pretty well. My hair was pretty stiff. It felt, I've never felt my hair like that before, so I'm not really sure what it feels like. Kind of like straw, I guess. And now it feels much more pliable, like I can actually do stuff with it again. Before, Corey was like, you probably don't even need to use shampoo and conditioner. You could probably just use salt water and have it dry in your hair and push it back and boom, it'll stay there forever. Huh, Scarlett? These are the creature comforts we can afford right now. Day 10, 9/8, 9/8, night 9. Last night sucked. I feel like that's my everyday. Today sucked. Last night sucked. Corey motored for most of the night, starting around 10 until like almost 6 in the morning. And in that 8-hour period, we went about 30 miles. Can you throw that over? And now this is the condition. Scarlett, stay in the cockpit. Thank you. Mm-hmm. You're a cutie. Yes, you are. I was just telling Corey about the Alaska Native sea snakes, and he pops his head out of the hatch and says, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, go look. Look at all of these Alaskan Native sea snakes." I don't know how well you guys can see them. When we get to one that's closer, I'll show you. There it is, the Alaskan Native sea snake. Another one. This one isn't nearly as big. It's probably just a baby Alaska Native sea snake. There it is. Where?
I don't see this pulling out.
We were looking for whales here. We did see them from afar, but they weren't close enough for the camera to get very good shots. Since there were a lot of days of rain and not great weather for Scarlett to be on deck, she really enjoyed this time. Here are just a couple of cool pictures that we took along the route. And of course, Scarlett loved her little makeshift swing that she discovered.
Dig in.
She played on that for a couple of hours while we were in the Dixon entrance about to enter Alaska.
Do you need help? Okay, sit. Woohoo! Yeah, you're swinging.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Although it may not seem like a big deal, this was the first bird we saw in over a week. It was a big deal to us. Super exciting.
We lost our lure. The line looks all chewed up like something ate it with some teeth.
We actually did see a dozen or so sharks in the Dixon entrance. It was pretty awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I promise they will get better as Scarlett gets older because she'll allow me to have more than 2 or so hours to put these together.
Can you say, "I'm smart"? Made it to Alaska. Say hi,
Sun
Scarlett.
is shining in the sky. There ain't a cloud inside.
You're talking to your granny,
It's not
huh?
raining. Everybody's in play. And don't you know it's a beautiful
More to come.
Tune in next time for how the Alaska trip went. Bye!